What is a webinar Q&A? Hi, I'm Jonathan, co-founder of Univid, a webinar platform where you can create engaging webinars in less than 60 seconds. But today we'll talk about what a webinar Q&A actually is, how you can use it, and how you can get a ton of engagement using the webinar Q&A with this one super tip that the top 1% of webinar hosts do. So let's get into it. So Q&A stands for questions and answers. You might be familiar with the term, and it's often the case in terms of webinars where you have a big audience looking to get answers to burning questions from a panel of experts in a specific subject. And you can have questions coming in from the audience throughout the webinar and then answer them either at the end, aggregated, or throughout the webinar. We typically recommend to have it activated throughout the entire webinar to get it as engaging as possible. The Q&A is a great complement to the chat, as you might be having questions that are a bit sensitive that you might not want to show for all the other attendees. Q&A, you can typically in platforms like Univid, you can have a preview of the questions before you decide if you want to show them to everyone or if you want to answer that specific person individually. So you can choose to reveal certain questions or just leave them hidden. This gives you a lot of control in the sense of the webinar. And the big tip that we see that superhosts use is to have a few prepared questions. In this way, you make sure to not have that awkward silence in the Q&A, meaning you have questions that you have prepared and will ask yourself or ask a colleague to ask you in the Q&A. This way you can inspire the other people attending the webinar, but you can also set some examples to reduce that awkward silence in the beginning. No one wants to be first, but everyone wants to join in on a good discussion. So stay tuned for more videos like this, and I recommend to try the Q&A in Univid if you're curious. I wish you a great next webinar. See you!